What's up, Headless Horde? Welcome back to the channel. So today let's talk a little bit about the Acolyte. We are 1 day away from it dropping in Disney Plus. Yes, and I will be live on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're breaking this whole thing down. Don't forget, there's 2 episodes dropping tomorrow. But in today's video, let's talk a little bit about what I really need to see from this series. Now, by now, you've all seen the clip. It's been on everybody's YouTube channel. It's been all over social media. So we're going to play it one more time.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
All right. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium. All right. Here's the thing, guys. Everyone's like, we can't break canon. We can't do it. And I was kind of in the same boat until I kind of thought about this. So in The Phantom Menace, we see Qui-Gon fight Darth Maul on Tatooine. Nobody knows he's around. We don't even really know how long Maul has been part of all of this. Now we know Palpatine is in the shadows. Before Palpatine, remember, Plagueis was still around. During the opening sequence of The Phantom Menace, Plagueis is still alive. Now, according to Legends, of course, this is not canon because, we know Disney decanonized the Plagueis novel, which is one of the best novels ever. And if you have not read that, I highly recommend it. We have not seen the Sith in a millennium. We know Qui-Gon Jinn fights Darth Maul in The Phantom Menace. Here's the thing you need to remember, is that just because the Jedi don't know that they're around, doesn't mean they're not. The Jedi are so arrogant by the time we get to The Phantom Menace that they think they have everything perfect. And look what happens by Revenge of the Sith. The entire Jedi Order goes down. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda have to go into hiding, and then we're hiding the children of Anakin Skywalker. So the whole thing becomes a disaster. Now, I think because of the arrogance of the Jedi, which I think is what this show is going to be kind of about, because I don't know that much about the High Republic. I did not read the books. And I'm kind of going into this series not knowing a ton about the High Republic. And the reason for that is, number one, I didn't really have any interest in the High Republic books, to be completely honest with you. And I also wanted to go into this series with something brand new. Haven't really been looking for spoilers. I haven't been trying to totally break down the video and think about every little part of the plot. I'm going in knowing that there's 2 sisters, there are twins, one's going to be light, one's going to be dark, and let's see what happens. And I kind of like that because even with some of these other series, it's easy to kind of get wrapped up and try to figure out what's going on. I remember doing that for the Kenobi series quite often, trying to figure out exactly what they're doing. And yeah, but the Kenobi series is a whole other conversation. But going into this, I don't have a problem with this Force user with the red lightsaber being a Sith. I think it just shows how arrogant the Jedi are, and maybe they are going to show the Jedi in a negative light, which I'm not 100% thrilled about, but it will be interesting. And if that can kind of continue down the line till we get to the Phantom Menace, as long as the series can help explain exactly what the Jedi's mindset is and why they become so arrogant that they think they can get into the politics. Because I don't think in the High Republic they're very political. I think they're very much the guardians of Coruscant. I think that they become maybe bored, and this is why they jump into the political circle so much, like we see them in the Phantom Menace. When Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon get sent over for the trade negotiations, why is that a Jedi's job? Now, the other thing I want to make sure is I don't want them to break any type of canon. So if they're not going to explain all this, and then we get that line in the Phantom Menace, then I have a real issue because they didn't explain it. So I hope that the story is good. I know that the director had said that she's not going to have cameos. And I don't think you need to have a cameo, but I think you need to mention names. Like, if I feel like the word Yoda or Yaddle should at least be mentioned because I want this to connect. You know, I know she said, oh, you don't really need to see Star Wars to understand the show. And they're kind of saying the same thing about the other show that's coming out this year in the Skeleton Crew. Listen, if it's one galaxy, then things do need to connect to a point. And how do I want to connect to the Acolyte to Phantom Menace? Well, I think there's two different easy ways to do this. I think you just name drop. You name drop Yoda. Make sure people understand that this is all the same galaxy. What I think will be absolutely incredible would be mentioning Plagueis. And I think that is probably the best way to do this. Now, his species is a Muin, and they live more than the standard 100 years. So hypothetically, he could easily be alive right now. And, you know, as far as age, I guess in his 20s isn't without reason. But I think that is a nice, easy way to link everything together and still have its own storyline. Now, the rumor is that this series wants to go about 3 seasons. I expect that there will be some deaths in this series in season 1. But I'm not expecting a ton because we have to keep around these characters for the most part, at least in the season 2. You know, think about how House of the Dragon did season 1. For the most part, all the main characters made it to season 2. So I feel like this is going to be something similar. We're definitely going to have deaths though, because the whole premise of the show is that Jedi are dying. But again, I'm looking at the core group. There's about 8 that I think will be okay. And finally, one last thing that I want to see is with this whip, this light whip. I know that it was in comic books. I want it to be explained and not just like a one-word thing that explains how the kyber crystal can create this whipping form and why have we never seen it since. That is my biggest issue with having these newer lightsabers come out, and we've never seen them before. You know, we're talking 100 years before the Phantom Menace, and we've never seen anything like this. And if all these comics and everything else are not considered canon in books and everything, then, you know, that's the problem, is that it seems like some books and comics are canon and some are not, and it's hard to keep track of all that. So for me personally, I go based on television and movies, you know, and that does include animation for me. But again, I'll be live on Wednesday at 9 p.m. and we're going to break down the first 2 episodes. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Smash that like on the way out of here. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We do all types of Star Wars and Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, conventions, all that type of good stuff right here on the Headless Net Start channel. So consider subscribing. Thank you so much. Guys, keep those heads on, and I'll see you guys in